And now, here to entertain you all, because every day he's hustling. Side Hustle Cinema.
Welcome back to the channel, Side Hustle Cinema here. Thanks for clicking on this video. And today we're going to be doing a 4K disc review of one of my childhood favorites, and that is the Neverending Story on 4K. Well, the Neverending Story came out in 1984, and I was going to be doing a review of it anyway, so when I saw it came out in 1984, I thought, well, what better time to do it than now, because over on Mid-Level Media's channel he's doing his 1984 month, where he's kind of taking a deep dive into a bunch of the movies and things that he hasn't seen from 1984 and going back and checking them out. And so yeah, I thought I would go ahead and do this video now so that it can kind of be a part of that collection of videos. So if you're a big fan of the movies that came out in 1984, head on over to Mid-Level Media's channel and check out some of his content that he's been putting out this month. He's put out a lot of good content, a lot of good videos on a lot of great 80s movies. But we're going to talk about one of those 84 movies, and that's the Neverending Story on 4K. This one is a German import. We don't have this movie on 4K here in the States, at least not yet. Hopefully we will someday. And I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on the movie. We'll talk about the packaging, the special features, the audio, the video, and I'll just give you sort of my overall assessment of, do I think it's worth an upgrade or not. So we got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and dive in. Well, this is one of those movies I grew up with, so nostalgia is going to play a part in how I feel about the movie as far as, the movie itself. I can dismiss those feelings for the audio and video, but as far as the movie goes, I'm always going to be a fan. The first time I ever watched this movie was in school. This was one of those movies where, when the teacher decides to take the day off, day before a holiday or whatever, should wheel out the old, TV strapped to the cart. And this is one of those movies that we would watch pretty much every year. And even giving it a rewatch now, I haven't seen it in years, the story part of it still holds up pretty well. As far as like a kid's movie, or a movie that's sort of, aimed at younger kids, as an adult, you don't really get that bored with it. I find it kind of interesting. But again, that might be the nostalgia talking. So now let's talk about some packaging. Well, unfortunately, the movie actually pretty much comes bare bones. I mean, there's really nothing, with the packaging. The slipcover here is pretty much one that I made. And, the reason I made this one is, because the cover art, with like most of these titles, is in German. And this one does have reversible cover art, but it's just the same picture. And it's got the age restriction sticker on there. Either one you use, they're both in German. So I'll at least use the one that doesn't have the big yellow age restriction sticker on there. And you do get some disc art. It does come with a Blu-ray as well. This is the 4K here, with Falcor. And then the Blu-ray over here, kind of like the cover picture. Kind of nice disc art on there. I kind of like that. And one great thing about this one is both the 4K and the Blu-ray are both region-free. So no need for a region-free player for this one. All the special features, the Blu-ray, everything, you can play it right on your regular player here in the States. Now, they did put a different cut of the movie together for this release. This one is one that's only been done in Germany, and it's referred to as the Constantine cut. and it's 101 minutes long. That's about 7 minutes longer than the US release. What bonus footage it includes, I have no idea. I couldn't find any information on what scenes were extended or what new thing is in there. But an interesting thing about this release is they did kind of redo the beginning of the movie. Here in the States, when the movie starts and when the movie ends, you get that great song, the Neverending Story song. Unfortunately, in this version, you don't get that song. It actually shows the title in German as well. That's something that I haven't seen from any of my other German imports. You would always get cover art that would be in German. Sometimes on the opening menu, it would be in German, but as soon as the movie started, it would all be in English, just like it is when you buy the movie here in the States. This was the first one that wasn't the case for. This one, the beginning movie, and I have a picture of it, I'm showing it now, and this is the way that it looks on screen. I'm not sure why they did that, but it's only seconds long and it's really not that big of a deal, although I did love the song. Now, if you love the song too, it is included in the special features. So there is some deleted scenes and some extra scenes where that song is included in the special features. So I guess you could go and watch that video. That's pretty much what I did, but it is kind of a little bit of a bummer not to have it be a part of the movie. Might be a deal breaker for some. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the video. So this movie has HDR10, it is native 4K, and has an aspect ratio of 2.35 to 1. For audio, you have a DTS HD 5.1 sound mix, and also a Dolby Digital 2.0 mix. We'll talk about the audio in a little bit. Well, I apologize if you can hear any construction sounds coming on this video. There's some stuff going on at my neighbors that just kind of started, so I apologize for that. Talking about the video on this movie, it was kind of a mixed bag. There were some things that didn't look that good. There were some things that they got really right. So first, let's talk about some of the things that they got right. Well, the close-ups on all the characters looked really good. The old Blu-ray used to have sort of an orange tone to it, and they got rid of that and made it look a whole lot more natural. Skin tones and things looked a whole lot better. Textures on their clothing looked really good. I mean, look at the the shirt that a trail wears. I mean, you can really, you notice pretty much all the stitching on the shirt. All the different creatures in the movie, like the snail, it's got, like the wet nose. You've got the bat with all the hair on it. Falcor, and he's got the scales, but then he's also got the fur. The rock monster with all that rock texture. They all looked really amazing. And a lot of the way this movie was shot, it was shot on a set. And so you would have things on the set, and then for the background, they would do a lot of like green screen backgrounding. So sometimes you can see those edges in the far away shots. Those shots don't look that great. But the close-up shots, everything that's, just the set pieces, they all look really good. You can definitely notice, the higher resolution. And you notice some things that, you didn't notice before. Like, that kid looks like he's kind of growing a little bit of a unibrow. They did scrub out quite a bit of the grain in this movie. You can detect some DNR. It's a little heavy-handed at times, but not so much that it ruined the picture. This wasn't like a T2 moment. I think they did a fairly good job of walking the line of not using too much DNR, but still cutting down on the grain and keeping some of that older filmic look, but still cleaning it up so you can feel like you're watching a 4K picture. One of the bad things about the video was that, because they used a lot of green screen special effects, those look really bad. They always have. There's always like an outline on the characters. It never looks good, and having the 4K resolution and the HDR just makes it stand out even more. When you do a 4K restoration on a movie, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can improve on, but, outdated special effects, there's nothing you can do about it. That's why I've always kind of thought that, a lot of people say they want Twister on 4K. Even though I would love to have Twister on 4K just to see what they could do with it, a lot of those special effects are bad too. They had a lot of green screen effects in that movie as well. And they just don't look good. And 4K, honestly, it makes them look even worse because it just makes them stand out even more. The black levels were decent, but they weren't the deepest. They weren't like inky black, but they were okay. And although there were pops of color in this one, it's not as colorful as you would think it would be. It wasn't as colorful as I remember. In the story, there's the nothing that's sort of erasing this world. Well, the nothing's basically a big storm. It's like almost like a thunderstorm kind of thing. Dark clouds that's just kind of swallowing up the whole landscape. And so a lot of the scenes are kind of dark and take place during the nighttime. And so it's kind of dark. I mean, there's not a ton of colors except for when you're looking at some of the creatures. And then the kid in the beginning of the movie, when he's getting like chased by the bullies and hiding out in the bookstore and just trying to stay hidden from all the bullies, it's kind of an overcast day there too. And they're wearing like jackets and stuff, so it must be like, like fall, school's in session. So it also seems like kind of a dreary day when it was shot as well. So definitely not the most colorful movie, but there's a few pops of color that do stand out. And now let's talk about the audio. Well, one of the things that would definitely keep you into this movie would be the audio. It sounded really good. Now it just has a, your basic standard DTS HD 5.1 mix, and it also has a 2.0 Dolby Digital mix, but it sounded really good. I mean, despite not having that really cool theme song put in this release, the score of the movie is fun to listen to. It's a really nice score. Even though it doesn't have Atmos, there's still quite a few atmospheric effects happening with a lot of rain, thunderstorms. Like I said, the nothing is basically a big storm that's just sort of wiping out the world, and it comes with a lot of sound effects, a lot of things going on. And a big surprise to me was how much bass was in this movie. There was actually quite a bit of bass, especially when it came to the rock monster, when he's rolling in, and just that really deep bass of his voice. It was really rumbling. Like, it knocked one of my NECA figures off the shelf. I mean, that thing was, it was thumping pretty hard. And the dialogue from the center channel came through clean and clear, sounded great. And there was even a little bit of movement, from front to back in some scenes with, a few of the atmospheric surround effects. It was a pretty good audio mix. And now let's talk about the special features. The special features of the movie are kind of a disappointment. This is obviously a German release, but most German releases tend to have German subtitles, and they'll have the option of listening to it in German. But in this case, it just seemed to be made for Germany. So all the special features, for the most part, are in German. Only there's a making of. It's pretty much totally in German. except for when the actors are talking, and they talk in English, and then it does German subtitles. And of course, you get like a few deleted scenes, and you get the song. They do have the clip of the song that was cut out of the movie, and that one is in English, thankfully. And there's really not a ton of special features on there. Although, unless you knew German, it's not going to matter anyway. So, overall, is this movie worth importing and bringing in? I really hope it gets an American 4K release. I would like to see the song put back in the movie. I would like to see the special features. Maybe have more special features and have those be in English. And I would also like to see if they would include an Atmos track. I doubt they would, but this movie would be great with an Atmos track. It was a pretty good track already, though. So ultimately, I think if you were to do an order, like import a bunch of things, then sure, pick this one up and bring it in. If you're a big fan of the movie, I think you should bring it in as well. But, if you're just a casual fan of the movie, well, the Blu-ray's very cheap here. It's like less than $10. So for you, it might not be worth an upgrade. I did really enjoy the movie. I'm happy to have it in my collection. I don't regret picking it up at all. I think it looked as good as it's looked in forever. And, it's a childhood favorite. What can you say? So, yeah, I'm glad I have this one. And that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you were unsubscribed to the channel, I invite you to do so. And go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on Neverending Story. Were you a fan of it growing up? Have you seen it? And until next time, stay safe, have fun, keep watching those movies, and I'll see you on the next one.